Hey, every once in a while you might start to wonder to yourself, why do so many Good News Friday stories on this show end up being about somebody fatally shooting people who were attacking him or her? And I think that's a fair question to ask, so let me answer it. Because today, once again, we're going to talk about a guy who even the odds when he got attacked outside of a bar in Philadelphia by using his Second Amendment rights. God, starting to love Philadelphia. Well, anyway. Now, in a society where the right to keep and bear arms is taken as a given, we wouldn't really need to talk about these situations as often as we do. But we no longer live in that society, and we haven't for a long time. Gun control advocates in this country have seen to it that the water surrounding what you should and should not be able to do in defense of yourself and your family are murky indeed. And the result, of course, is that the scales get overbalanced in the eyes of the American public. We hear about shootings all the time on the news, and I'm sure it comes as no surprise to you that most of them are cherry-picked for their efficacy in supporting a broader narrative that guns should be done away with in this country as quickly as can possibly be managed. Now, great pains are taken on the part of our mainstream media and politicians to conceal the fact that the overwhelming majority of gun deaths are not the kind they care to talk about. And the list of problems in this field goes on and on and on and on and on. Now, you've heard me talk about it a million times. But what I'm getting at is that people like me come on a show like this and talk about justified shootings because the balance of the narrative needs to be restored to American discourse. Here we go. 21-year-old Liam Hughes found himself embroiled in a pretty rough situation last month when he was attacked on his way to his car in a parking lot of a bar in Upper Southampton. Now, the play-by-play of this situation is pretty damn near picture perfect in terms of what you should do in a situation like this. He tried to extricate himself from the situation, and when the three men who had been hanging out and waiting for him started beating the shit out of him, he reached into his car and pulled his perfectly legal gun from its perfectly legal spot in the car, shot 8 times, and left 2 of them dead and the third wounded. Now, I know I sound like a broken record sometimes, but I'm going to say it again. This is an unfortunate situation, but it's also a situation where the wheels of justice turn the way they were supposed to. Now, do I feel bad that 2 men are dead and a third is wounded? Of course, it's a tragedy. These men were made in the image of God. I have no doubt the value of their lives and their souls. They had families, jobs, lives to go back to, I'm assuming, but they also stepped on a fundamental landmine in the course of everyday American life. My freedom of self-governance is broad, but it also extends to the length at which the tip of my fist stops. In this country, folks, you do not commit a violent assault on another human being without accepting implicitly the possibility that you will pay for doing so with your life. That might not be the desired outcome, but it can and often will be the outcome. The authorities who looked into this case have decided that no criminal charges are going to be raised against Mr. Hughes, and they should not be. He's already got the burden of having had to defend himself in the point of killing 2 of his fellow human beings, and that's enough. Look, squishy liberals, they don't like to think about these things in an honest light. And to some extent, I don't blame them. Look, real life is hard. Living in a free society comes with some serious collateral damage and a lot of responsibility sometimes. But it's a necessary damage and a necessary responsibility because it's a cog in the wheel of the machine that maintains our status as the land of the free. I love you. God bless.